Okay, so I was gonna do a soft talking ramble video again. I know I do that a lot, but I just kind of figured I'd do a little bit of sound spray. But I'll just kind of start off doing like talking really close to the ear and stuff, and just kind of like rambling about stuff, kind of nice and close to the ear. And I was also gonna do some other stuff. I wasn't gonna do face tracing, but I don't know, for some reason I feel like doing it right now, so I can like talk on this side a little bit. Okay, so I just had to my nail is kind of long. I don't really like that being in the video, but oops, I have to cut it. But yeah, I was gonna ramble about stuff. Maybe kind of like nice and close to your ear while I kind of just try to scratch the side of your face like gently. And I'll try to get some of the bottom side. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just kind of like ramble a little bit, do some soft talking. So I did kind of think about doing a video where I just kind of like just sit here and do the sound and then not really worry about talking. But I did a lot of videos already that are just sound, and then I have the visuals. But I never really did a video where I'm just kind of like sitting here doing the sound and not talking. Like, it's like you can't see it, which for me, if I'm just focusing on the sound, I guess I don't really need to see it anyways. I'm just gonna close my eyes anyways. I don't know. So I don't know. I could do that, but I kind of felt like I wanted to talk to. I wanted to like ramble about stuff, and yeah. So I don't know. There's also lots and lots of YouTube videos of people going like this and not talking. So there's already lots out there, like which I'm not saying I won't do that, but I don't know. I could just kind of sit here a little bit and talk. And it feels kind of nice to like have that sound. I was gonna talk about Digimon, I guess. I don't know, but because I watched a couple more episodes. for some reason I wanted to say that I was talking about last time I was talking about some guy that talks to themselves, whatever. For some reason, I just felt like I wanted to say. Just kind of make me feel awkward. Whatever. Anyways, okay. I'm not trying to diss people that talk to themselves. Just whatever. Whatever. I just kind of feel like to some degree, everybody kind of like talks to themselves, except most people don't vocalize it. That's all. Anyways, whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm not trying to make fun of it. Anyways. I don't know, just kind of a random thought, but my mom worked with like mentally disabled people at one point, and I don't know, I just never saw certain people with such severe mental disabilities before. Like, whoa, and I never went to her work, but like I seen some, I don't know, whatever, I just like, so, and I like heard some stories and stuff, so it's like, wow, it's crazy. I never knew that stuff, so I just never seen it before, I don't know. After working in the schools for a little bit, I seen it a lot more in the schools than I feel like it was when I was a kid. And I went to like at least seven different schools in this city in like a year and a half. One of the schools, it felt like the schools are like being almost kind of forced into like teach about indigenous, like the residential schools and stuff. Whatever. It just felt like one of the schools was making fun of it, that's all. I don't know. It just felt like that. It just kind of felt like that. But maybe they weren't. Maybe they just didn't really care. Just kidding, I don't know. Well, the reason why is because like these seven sacred teachings of like the Native Americans and stuff, and when it kind of felt like maybe it was just their perception of what it was a little bit too much, but it was just made it sound really stupid. And I felt like a lot of the points were actually wrong. Okay, so you know what, like I think most people are just curious. They're just curious. What's that person saying? I don't know, people just have a curiosity, I guess. I don't know what, that's kind of a random point, I guess, but Some people are just curious, some people are just nosy and don't know when to mind their own business. Anyway, so on the other side for a little bit, talking about Digimon. So I watched episodes 17 and 18. I'm just gonna do this for a little bit. I could come back later, but I'll just do this for a little bit. Don't really want to sit here and complain about personal stuff, and in this case, so much the Digimon episode. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit off topic again right away here. Because I wanted to talk about something else besides Digimon first. I don't know, it's just kind of a random thought because I was like, something about balance. And you have to have like a balance. So I'm talking to you about like one to your ear, so I don't know. So just kind of randomly rambling about balance and how the example that I just gave makes it sound like to turn off, to stop one of the energies, or to stop them both. Which you would do with an air conditioner and a heater. That's what you would do. It would be really stupid to just waste energy. You don't do that. Don't waste energy. But if it was a video game, in a different example about balance that I was thinking about, if it was a video game and you were creating a character, and let's say every time in this game you level up your character, maybe some people already don't like the analogy because it's a video game, but whatever. Just if you have a video game character and let's say every time they level up you can distribute points. Let's say they have things like strength and intelligence. So let's say you leveled them up 20 times. And every single time you're mostly giving the points to strength, not so much intelligence. So let's say by the time you're level 20, he has like 50 points in strength and only 25 in intelligence. And let's say you say to yourself, I want this to be balanced. I want a balanced character. And right at that moment, the video game tells you, so you're sitting at level 20. The video game tells you can just keep leveling up and start giving more points to intelligence. Or right here, right now, you can just take away your strength points. So that way they're equal to your intelligence points. So, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but in that example, it would be absolutely ridiculous to take away anything. You always want to be adding. So if you want it to be balanced, you just add more power to the other side. Not take away the other side. Anyways, kind of just a ramble, random. The point is, you're not supposed to take away from yourself. You're supposed to add to yourself. When you're trying to balance yourself out, you don't take away from yourself. You don't tell yourself that this part of me is bad. So if you're an overthinker, you don't tell yourself, that's bad of me, I should stop overthinking. Just add to the other part where you don't think at all. Because that's also like a superpower in a way. Just add to that level. It's like you're level 50 in overthinking, but you're like only level 10 when it comes to not thinking at all. So you need to level that up. And vice versa. If you don't think very much, don't think of yourself as bad or that's wrong or you need to get rid of that part of you. Just add to the other part. Anyways, so in the Digimon episode, I just like some of the things that they said that kind of made me think about stuff. There's only 3 points that I really wanted to make. And maybe some extra points after that, but I don't know if you can see what I'm doing on the task cam here. I'm just like go find. And the one character was asking why does he want to make his Digimon evolve. And the character said, well, to see what the next evolution looks like, right? I assume that's what everybody wants. I assume that's what you want to do too, right? And he's like, no. He's like, I want to make my Digimon evolve so that way I can evolve. He's like, not to evolve into a Digimon, but just to like grow strong and smarter or something. I don't know how he explained it, but it's like grow stronger, become stronger. Like, so I was like, I like that. I don't know. It just kind of means, it can mean something if you want it to. Anyways, and I forget what the other point was. Oh yeah. It was that Thai character, the main character. He was having some sort of flashback, and it's starting to make me think, because I've only seen up to episode 18 so far, and I think actually I've seen a whole bunch of episodes as a kid, like as a really small kid, but I don't really remember. But it's kind of making me think that because I watched the show, that I was actually trying to do this as a kid. Because I remember doing this, but it's like I don't remember. It's weird, but anyways, he was having a flashback, and the kid is in the show as a kid already. He's already a kid himself, but he was having a flashback to when he was younger, and he couldn't ride his bike, and he had nobody to help him ride his bike. But because he was there, he was watching himself, and he was his older self. He was looking at his younger self, basically crying because he doesn't know how to ride the bike and he has nobody to help him out. So he decided to help his younger self out. I don't think I ever did that. I don't remember doing that. I just remember thinking about my younger self for some reason when I was like a little kid like that. And probably because I watched that show. But it's just funny because I think like that's an actual like kind of like a healing technique, like that can actually be really good. But anyways, yeah, I really like that he helped himself ride the bike, and it just helps your internal younger self when you do that, when you mentally picture something that happened when you were younger. And if you can take your older adult self and go into that younger self, that memory, and help that younger self, and talk to that younger self and say something. Anyways, okay, so there's some other points I like about the show. I don't know, in some of the earlier episodes, like I think it was like episode 7 or something, they were like all eating eggs. And they were like all saying the different things that they like to put on their eggs. And it like matched their personalities. I thought it was kind of cool. Like one of them like ketchup, one of them like salsa, one of them like really bizarre things like, and then like one of them just like, you guys are all messed up, it just needs salt and pepper and that's it. It was really funny